Looks like we've got a really big leaked Christmas box set for the Imperial Guard. I guess good news for the faction if you wanted to pick up some Rogal Dorns, as soon they're going to be available at a discount. Hello and welcome back to Warspets Tactics, where today I thought we'd talk through a leaked image of what appears to be one of the new Christmas Battleforce box sets coming for Warhammer 40k. Confirmation that the Astra Militarum are getting some love, though it's perhaps a little bit of an unusual box set with just two absolutely enormous tanks plus some infantry. Let's talk about the leaked image, the contents of the box set, and how much this is likely going to cost, and whether or not it might be an interesting deal for people collecting Imperial Guard at the moment, both in terms of the models and in-game. The leak itself is just a single image and not even an entire full picture of the front of the box set, though it is kind of unmistakable as a Games Workshop Big Battleforce Christmas box set, and from the way that they're presented, I think that this one will be genuinely very hard to fake. They usually do them as an entire set of miniatures fighting over a battlefield, and I think there's every reason to believe that this one's genuine. I've seen this posted to multiple places already, including Discord and the Bolter and Chainsword, and while it doesn't look like there was any major information posted alongside it, the picture itself is kind of self-explanatory. We've got two Rogal Dorns, two infantry squads and a Acadian command squad, all in one big box. Generally I'd say it's good news for the Imperial Guard, given that the Christmas Battleforce box sets for Warhammer 40k aren't guaranteed to feature any one faction. There's often around about 6 of them. Last year we had quite a lot more though, as they had the weird Space Marine chapter specific releases coming out alongside, which felt like they might have been aimed at a slightly different release, but then were repurposed alongside the Battleforce box sets. Last year the pricing on these boxes was £130, €170 or $210, so around about a Combat Patrol box set plus an extra third or so, and they do generally tend to offer at least fairly good discounts on Games Workshop's models inside compared with buying them separately. Usually discounts somewhere in the region of 35 to 50%, tending to be on the slightly higher side compared with Combat Patrol boxes. This time round though, I guess there's always the possibility that the Battleforce prices could go up a bit. Games Workshop are definitely no stranger to raising their prices year on year, and there has been a fair bit of inflation since then. Obviously as hobbyists though, I'd definitely be hoping for them to stay as low as possible. For an expected release date for this one along with the others, last year they went on pre-order on the 3rd of December, so it's likely to be sometime around then. That was the weekend after Black Friday last year, I believe, so I suppose we could have another case of them being the week after that, I guess. Looking at the image itself, and we've got a 40k box set, we've got the Acadian Command Squad front and centre there holding the banner, a unit of Acadian shock troops off to the left of them, a second unit of them on the top right at the back, and then two Rogal Dorn Tanks. These ones have been assembled with the one on the bottom right sporting the stylish suppressor cannon, and the one on the top left with the twin battle cannon. To me it looks like the picture is front and central enough that we're probably seeing everything that's on offer in the Battleforce box set. I guess it's not the entire box, we can't see the name of the box set, and I guess it's kind of possible that there could be something, say, hiding in the bottom right hand corner that's one more miniature in the box, though given what these cost and what the Battleforce boxes usually tend to go for, this does seem like it to be around about what you might expect out of a guard box. Those Rogal Dorns are pretty expensive things. If they are the only contents, then I guess that will be 5 plastic kits there, and I guess quite nice in that there's no old stuff being pushed there. All of this is stuff that has basically come out within the last year or so for the Astra Militarum. Games Workshop do seem to have rethought their Battleforce box set, and actually seem to be offering discounts on things that have come out over the past year, usually, knowing that people are kind of excited for those new models, and maybe being a little bit less afraid to discount them early. They usually tend to sell these Christmas Battleforce box sets very, very well, and the popular ones at least tend to go very quickly. Individually, the cost of these kits separately would be £207 or $345, though it's really a box set that's very, very skewed towards one model. Over half the value of the box set is in the Rogal Dorn Tanks alone. They make up $200 out of that $345 value. If we did assume that Games Workshop kept their prices stable and kept them at $130 or $210, that would add up to a fairly reasonable discount by their own standards at least. 40% off the kits bought individually. That tends to be on the slightly upper end for Combat Patrol box sets, and definitely seems quite nice when it applies to relatively new miniatures in their range that a fair few long-standing guard collectors might not have in their collection yet. Having said that, I feel like this one really is quite specific. It definitely has its downsides. If you happen to have gone out and already got a Rogal Dorn last year when they came out, it might just be a little bit less exciting. You might not necessarily want 3 of them, though it definitely could be a way that you could go if you wanted big chunky tanks at the heart of the guard force. Basically, this is the box set that you want to pick up if you want Dawns in multiple, as compared with buying them separately. You'd be paying around about the same sort of price as 2 Dawns, and then you could look at it as basically getting the infantry entirely for free if you bought 2 of them. I think the infantry squads are nice enough. They have the nice new Cadian sculpts. The main criticism I'd have for those, though, is that it does overlap kind of perfectly with the Combat Patrol and also the Imperial Guard introductory box set that they had before that. That one had a Cadian command squad and a couple of Cadian shock troop units, and it means that if you bought one or more of those box sets, you probably already have at least one command squad, although it's usually helpful to have plenty of infantry for a guard army. They can run really quite hoardy if you want to run a fairly infantry-heavy force. Points-wise, I think it does okay. There's about 705 points in the box currently for 40k, though of course it changes from balance update to balance update. That works to around about 3.4 points per dollar, maybe not particularly outstanding for these Battleforce box sets, as they can go a bit higher. There were plenty last year that got you really quite a lot of points on the board. The Knights won, Custodians won, and Thousand Sons all ran north of 1,000 points, I think. Still though, it definitely could have been worse for a Guard Battle Force. Lots of their units are just really quite hoardy and very cheap in game. Focusing on tanks of some description generally is a better route to getting more points on the board, as opposed to infantry, which Games Workshop could charge a lot for the points that you get. Overall, I'd rate that as not really too bad for Guard though. They are a kind of famously expensive faction to collect, and their Combat Patrol is the one that gets you the single least points in game. Overall, for a unit mix, it is kind of focused. If you want Dawns, it's a good value box set. If you don't want them, then unfortunately it's probably going to be a pass, even if you're collecting Guard. In game at the moment, I would say that all the units are fairly strong currently. Rogal Dorns are placed on a similar sort of power level to the strongest Rust battle tanks. I think it's definitely a credible move to run multiple ones if you wanted to. Command squads for their 65 points I think generally bring really quite good value. One long range order, the medic for feel no pain, extra objective control, and just a few more bodies in the unit. Absolutely viable in a 20-man infantry squad I think. And as mentioned, infantry are just useful to have. Most guard lists are going to run at least some. Cheap bodies to hold the line and screen, and the Cadian shock troops in particular compare a bit better with Death Corps of Krieg now that they're actually a bit cheaper. In any case, definitely exciting stuff for the Imperial Guard. Let me know your thoughts on the box set down in the comments below. And would you be tempted to pick this up when Christmas time comes around, or is this one going to be a pass for you? I might personally look to see if there's any Rogal Dorns going a little bit cheaper on eBay over the period, perhaps. I've already got one in the army at the moment, and I feel like it might be a bit more sensible to build them up one at a time. Probably wouldn't have been my next purchase for the Guard, but if they're going extra cheap, I could definitely be interested. In any case, if you enjoyed the update, feel free to subscribe to Auspex Tactics. It'll be interesting to see if there's any more news of the box sets coming out. And finally, if you have been enjoying all the videos on the channel, I would just like to mention that Auspex Tactics does have a Patreon page as well, and you can find that linked in the video description below. Channel patrons do get a fair few advantages, seeing certain videos early, regular votes to see what sort of things happen next on the channel, and automatic entry into the regular prize giveaways with a chance to win some big model kits each month. If any of that sounds good to you, or you'd just like to help support, the link is down in the video description. In any case, a massive thank you for listening, and I'll hope to see you guys next time.